and this is Communities Live with
Susie Casson
and me, Andrew Tildersley. And joining us in the studio is Dave Pickersgill from Camera. Hello, Dave.
Good afternoon.
Hi Dave, thanks for coming in. So you're the Heritage Officer with the Campaign for Real Ale.
Well, with the Sheffield branch of the Campaign for Real Ale.
Yes. So we came on a few weeks ago. Can you remind us what the Sheffield Camera Asset of Community Value applications are and what the current situation is?
The current situation is fairly unchanged since last time I was here. Last time I spoke to you, we'd had 9 applications refused by Sheffield City Council. We had 3 more in. We should have had decisions on the 13th of March, which is 2 to 3 weeks ago to my reckoning. Sheffield Council, basically, I don't like using the word incompetent. I'd just be fairly, I'd rather say slow and a bit behind. Basically, they are not responding within the time periods. We've complained to the monitoring officer. She's promised to review their procedures. Not happy.
No, I'm sure. So just a case of waiting to hear.
At the moment, it's a case of waiting to hear. We put 2 more applications in last weekend, and obviously there's another 7.5 weeks for those to run through.
Right. So you're involved in the Camera National Inventory of Pub Interiors. What is that?
Well, basically, it's some 20-25 years ago, various Camera members became concerned at the number of old pubs, 16th, 17th, 18th, 19th century pubs that were beginning to get demolished, opened out, changed, wrecked, whichever word you wish to use, and started, we ought to have a list of which pubs are worth saving, which pubs have got original features from the 19th, 20th century. And that work started, as I say, 20-25 years ago. It's accumulated in the Camera Pub Heritage website. Camera Pub Heritage on Google will find you it. On there's just over 300 pubs which we think are of national importance. Most of them are Grade 2 listed, quite a few are Grade 2 star listed, but nationally important pub interiors. They're the sort of buildings that if they're in York, you'd pay a £5 to go and see.
Yes. So how important is Sheffield as a city in terms of pub heritage?
And Sheffield actually is 10-15 years ago. Sheffield wasn't really on the map for pub heritage. People have become more aware of what exists in the city over that period. The Bath and the Sheffield Tap, for example, are rated as of national importance on the Camera National Inventory of Pub Interiors. The Sheffield Tap's got the 1920s Edwardian dining room. The Bath, it's essentially unchanged since basically the early 1920s, the work that Ian Coop did. The only change in the Bath is that the off-sales has gone, and apart from that, it's brilliant. So we've got 2 national inventory pubs. We've got a number of pubs that are reckoned to be of regional importance. The White Lion's a prime example of that one on London Road, and that has still got the original rooms. It's got lots of original fittings, and it's actually a contender at the moment for national inventory status. How important is Sheffield? We've got, as I say, a fair number of regional inventory pubs, but what is happening at the moment is that with increased interest in heritage, architecture, the past, our heritage, our history, more inventory, more pubs which have got features of architectural importance, internal architectural importance, are being discovered. To take an example, a few weeks ago was at the Richmond Hotel up in Richmond, Sheffield and Stradbroke. That has got 2 rooms that have got amazing panelling. But it just wasn't known about till about a fortnight ago. On Friday, I'm taking the editor of the Yorkshire's Real Heritage Pubs book there, and we'll have a look, and he will make copious notes. He's the next town planner. He knows what to look for. I'm just an enthusiastic amateur.
So the inventory, it covers pubs of national importance and pubs of local importance.
Yeah, the inventory which is online has got copious detail. I don't mean a couple of paragraphs. I mean copious detail. If you're an architecture buff, you will love this site, and wonderful photos. I mean, people call it pub porn, which it basically is. But there are just over 300 pubs rated of national importance. There's well over 1,000 rated of regional importance, and the numbers of Sheffield pubs have actually been increasing in the last year or so. Princess Royal's an example of Princess Royal in Crooks. We did some research at Sheffield Archives across the road, The internal plan of that pub hasn't changed since the late 1940s, and that was a minimal change from the 1920s. And you look at that and you think, that is almost 100 years old, effectively unchanged. That is brilliant. And most people just don't realise, because you go there every day, you don't particularly notice. And the Princess Royal, as I say, if it was in York, £5 entry, yes please.
And so a lot of the pubs have now changed their use and unfortunately aren't pubs anymore. Is there an inventory of the interesting features that still remain on the buildings?
I mean, what we're trying to do in Sheffield is, starting from the work that's previously been done on the national inventory and the regional inventories, is build up lists, information about local pubs which have got features of historic heritage importance, but also begin listing and logging those closed pubs, as you say, that have still got features that are there. I'm told of a Vets in Hackenthorpe that's still got some bar fittings in, but I can't actually pin this one down. If anybody out there can identify that, that'd be brilliant. The Old Bull's Head on Kelham Island, I don't know if you know that one, but that is now a nursery, but outside it's got some brilliant stonework, and that is something that we've got logged, and it's noted. It'll never get listed, but it's the sort of thing that people should know about.
So these kind of features, there'd be tiling within windows?
It could be, if you're looking for internal features, it tends to be tiling. It's very rare to find a bar still in existence from a pub that closed maybe 10, 20, 30 years ago. Invariably it will have been taken out because it would have been in the way, to be honest. But tiling, yes, we do find that. There are one or two examples we've had suggest the Steel Inn in Darnell. Apparently it's got some wonderful mosaic. The now closed Steel Inn in Darnell. The Vulcan on Sussex Street, again, apparently it's got some really nice windows. But these are places that we obviously can't get into because they're no use for other purposes. One external feature that is available to everybody, a new inn on Carbot Road, quite near Meadowhall. A sort of Edwardian tile work, absolutely brilliant. So very similar to the Cutlers in Rotherham. That's available to everybody. Just walk past and have a look. Be stunned.
Yeah, great. So Sheffield Camera's taking part in the Heritage Open Days events in September.
Yeah, we did it for the first time last year. Last year we just did one heritage walk. We started at Fagan's. That's got some quite original features. Hasn't really changed since the 1950s, and most of the internal features are 1920s. Started at Fagan's, walked up to the Dog and Partridge and the Grapes. The Grapes is on the Camberwell Regional Inventory. Dog and Partridge has got a wonderful little snug inside. They've both got some quite nice glasswork. The Grapes has got some wonderful sort of Art Deco features inside. And then we're going to move around onto West Street, look at a few exteriors, end up at the Bath Hotel. So, mile and a half-ish walk. We did it last September and it took 2.5 hours. I'm sure I didn't talk that much, but we did have a beer break halfway through. But this year we're going to try it twice. On the 9th of September, part of the National Heritage Open Day weekend, 2 o'clock and 5:30, so do it twice on the same day. Bookings will be available once Heritage Open Day publicity kicks off in June. So that's just something to look out for in the future.
Great. So how would people find out more about the Pub Heritage Walk?
Pub Heritage Walk in September. Heritage Open Days produce an awful lot of publicity, locally and nationally. Locally, there's a booklet will be available around June. There'll be a formal launch. It will be widely available. Don't worry about that one.
Right.
And we'll also put it on our Canberra publicity, of course. But and Beer Matters, our monthly magazine.
And is there online presence as well, sort of at Facebook or?
For the Heritage Walk, the
or
book
just where that would come up.
Yeah, the Heritage Open Days have websites and stuff which link to, if you put Heritage Open Weekend or Heritage Open Day into Google and then focus in on Sheffield, you'll be able to find us, or be able to find us. You'll be able to find all the events that are on in Sheffield. Actually, one thing you could do an outside broadcast as we wander around.
Sounds good. Yeah. So, David, we were saying that a lot of pubs have closed now or have changed use. What do you see as the future for pubs in Sheffield?
It's like everything. I think some pubs will prosper, some pubs will do very well, some pubs are doing very well. The guys who had the inspiration for the Sheffield tap 10 years ago, that was a total derelict storage room at Sheffield Station on platform 1B, and it's now one of the best pubs in the country, and that has gone from nowhere. Same with Kelham Island. 10-15 years ago, Kelham Island Tavern, it was the White Hart, it again closed. It was, I won't say it was derelict, but it was certainly going down, and people took it on, and within 5 years it became Camera National Pub of the Year. And things can happen, things can change, but I think most of it's to do with quality and service these days. You know, if you have a pub, you have to provide what people want, which means being polite when people come through the door, which means offering a range of well-kept drinks. If you do food, the food's got to be decent, you know, value for money. People will then go back and the word will go round. If you offer rubbish, I'm sorry, you won't do well. That's the way life is. The future for pubs in Sheffield, variable. Some will do really well, some will not. Another example, 3 Tons on Silver Street Head. For years it was a punch pub that was just sort of rolling along. Last couple of years, retail pub company in Sheffield have taken on the lease. It's gone from not very good to this year it's runner-up in Sheffield Camera Pub of the Year. Brilliant.
It's like